Thank you everyone for joining us tonight on our One Green Thing workshop series. Tonight, we're going to talk about creativity and how it can help with eco-anxiety, and specifically the One Green Thing bullet journaling and the practice of bullet journaling in general. Next slide, please. First, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk a little bit about the definition of eco-anxiety, why creativity is vital to climate action, reflection and journaling as a tool to deal with eco-anxiety. We'll introduce you to the One Green Thing bullet journal, and then we'll talk about the One Green Thing challenge, and then talk about next steps. Next slide, please. So just quickly, the definition of eco-anxiety from the American Psychological Association is called the chronic fear of environmental doom. Next slide. So I say that it's been defined by the American Psychological Association, and more people are worried about the future of the planet. The Oxford English Dictionary only defined eco-anxiety last year in September of 2021, and it means unease or apprehension about the current and future harm to the environment caused by human activity and climate change. Other terms that you may have heard are climate anxiety, solastalgia, climate despair, climate grief, or climate doom. Next slide, please. Now, eco-anxiety is very pervasive. There was a survey in September of 2021 of 10,000 young people ages 16 through 25. Nearly half said that climate anxiety interfered with their daily life, and 1 in 4 don't want to have children of their own because they're so worried about the climate crisis. So our approach at One Green Thing is to really deal with the intersection of the climate crisis and mental health. And we want to tackle eco-anxiety through joyful daily action. And the idea is that that daily action leads to culture change for policy solution. Action helps abate anxiety, connection and community, lessens loneliness, and policy scales solutions. Next slide, please. So creativity is really important in climate action. We know this because we need to start not just talking about the threat of climate change, which I think those of you who are familiar with eco-anxiety, if you're in this space or you're drawn to going to this workshop either on YouTube or here live with us tonight, you know that climate change is real, and you know it's something that this generation, specifically Generation Z, is really worried about. But one of the things we don't spend enough time on in the environmental community, in my opinion, is talking about what we're working toward. What could that future look like if we get it right? What could it look like in 2050 when we have green design everywhere, when we have wonderful water quality, when we put equity at the center of our solutions? So your individual creativity, your individual talents, your individual strengths are really important, because your daily action and your gifts and leadership can help us shift the culture for big climate solutions, global ones, policy and market solutions to take hold, but also help us envision and then create that healthier, greener, more equitable future. Next slide, please. So we have the technology, we have the money to solve the climate crisis. What's missing is the political will. And that comes with culture change, which is why every individual matters. Now, just to be clear, the climate crisis isn't your responsibility. It's not my responsibility. It is the responsibility primarily of the oil and gas industry and all of the different policies globally that have supported this industry that has resulted, because of our energy choices, into the climate crisis. So we need to shift, and even those companies themselves that are primary fossil fuel based are switching to clean and green energy because they know that's the future. But what's missing is the political will, and all of these individual actions that we take, it's not so much about our specific impact, it's really about that culture shift. So I want you to start thinking of yourself as a culture change agent through your daily practice. You need to give yourself grace, because it's not all on your shoulders, and whether or not you have a hamburger one night doesn't mean that you're responsible for the future. but making better choices each day creates a path and creates a culture for us to make the shift we need. Next slide, please. So the climate crisis is the biggest challenge of our time, and we all have a unique role to play. We need your creativity. We need your best thinking to create a greener, healthier, more equitable world. Next slide, please. So now I want to talk a little bit about the One Green Thing bullet journal, which is available at OneGreenThing.org. This is a 7-day journal that encourages you to take time out each day, and this can be your One Green Thing, to think about your connection to nature, your connection to climate solutions, your connection to seeing yourself as an awesome ancestor, and your connection to community. Next slide, please. The mental health benefits of journaling are actually very significant. There's scientific peer-reviewed literature. Psychologists, worldwide recommend journaling to help regulate emotions, improve your awareness and perception, to kind of break that cycle of obsessive thinking, and to reduce anxiety. And if you're new to journaling, I really encourage you just to take this time out and try to make it, just try it for these 7 days. And I think you might be surprised at the peace and clarity that it can provide you. Next slide, please. So what we're going to do is share as part of this YouTube lecture, the 2050 visualization exercise that is part of the book that I wrote and is also on the One Green Thing website. And then what I'm going to ask you to do after you pause this video and listen to the visualization exercise, which will be in the links in the description below, I want you to take out some colored pencils, or if you like to draw on an iPad, and even if you consider yourself not an artist, I want you to draw your vision of 2050. If we get this right, if we create a truly regenerative future, what does it look like? What do you see? What do you experience? And just write that down and draw it as much as you can. So take 5 minutes and just pause. And now come back. And then I want you to take 3 minutes and write down how this vision makes you feel. Just bullet out your thoughts for 3 minutes, put a pause on the video and come back. Okay, next slide, please. So you've gone through this exercise. Hopefully you've downloaded the One Green Thing bullet journal. You've thought about this vision of this regenerative future and what it might look like, what it might feel like, how you might be able to contribute is something that you'll be reflecting on as you do the 7-day practice of the One Green Thing journal. And that's what we talk about. This daily practice in our nonprofit is called the One Green Thing. And the daily practice of sustainability is an important way for you to ease your personal eco-anxiety, for you to also feel a sense of agency that you're contributing to climate solutions, for you to create, for you to reflect, and for you to be part of this community. And the whole idea is that that daily practice of One Green Thing is an important, powerful cultural change agent and vehicle, because if we all do our One Green Things, we can make a significant impact. And the math then actually does add up. And our culture change can also get us where we need to go. So as part of the One Green Thing bullet journal, you'll see there's prompts to take the One Green Thing challenge, which is just 7 days. You're going to make a commitment to journal each day and to do a One Green Thing. You're going to use the bullet journal. And then as part of that exercise, one of the things we'll ask you to do is take the Be an Awesome Ancestor pledge, which is on the website. And this whole idea is for us to start thinking not only what 2050 could look like, what future are we working towards, what could it look like if we get it right, but also to start thinking of ourselves as ancestors. What future are we creating for our loved ones? And this pledge says that you're going to create space in your life to listen to the young people that are important to you about how they feel about the future we're leaving them. And then it prompts you through conversation starters for you to take that next step to let these young people know that they're not alone, and then encourage that conversation about what we could build together. What could it look like, that positive vision of the future, and let them know that not only are they personally resilient, but that you're with them as we try to create this healthier, greener world. And then please get involved. And then one of the things that I didn't mention here, if you haven't already, please take the assessment, the Service Superpower assessment at OneGreenThing.org, which is a great way. It's kind of like Enneagram or Myers-Briggs, a great way for you to start seeing yourself. You discover your strengths in service. How do you show up for the people you love? And then we match you to a daily practice of sustainability based on your service superpower. So that's a great thing too. Next slide, please. And finally, please follow us on social media. You can join our community on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And please like and subscribe to this YouTube video and share it if you found it rewarding. Thanks so much.